Welcome to Los Pinata, the podcast where we talk about navigating your creative lifestyle or whatever the heck we feel like talking about. I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dave. If you enjoy this episode, please like, follow, and share the program with your friends. Today,
what are we talking about, Dave?
We're doing a superhero sidebar. Oh, yeah. And we're going to start off, this is Los Pinata. We're going to open up the Los Pinata Lost and Found and see what's there.
I got a new toy.
Oh, it was so cute.
Technically, his name is Ted, but it's Man-Thing.
So it's a gray Man-Thing.
It's a black and white Man-Thing with the little red
Bloodstone
in his back.
And that's from the Werewolf by Night special feature that they did for Halloween a couple years ago.
Actually, hold on one second. I should have thought about this. Because...
Yeah, show us your toys, Terrence.
Well, because this is the other Man-Thing that's just plain old Man-Thing.
Oh, wait, is it the same?
No, this is the Man-Thing one that they came out with before. This is, and then
that one's not related to the show at all.
And the Ted one is a little bit bigger. He's like supersized.
Okay.
Yeah, his head's crooked though because my kid was playing with it.
Oh, they need to make these toys kid-proof, don't they?
Yeah, I know.
So you haven't taken what? Here's a question, because one of them is still in the packaging. When do you decide to take one out of the package, and when do you decide to leave it?
I guess it's just a personal choice. I don't know. Ted is not as Man-Thingy to me as Man-Thing, so Man-Thing has more value.
Man-Thing must remain pristine.
Yeah, there's a little bias, I will say, because they didn't properly represent the Man-Thing
So what is it? What is it? I know Man-Thing. Let's see. You're when I think of your favorite characters, I think Man-Thing, Silver Surfer, and Iceman. And so what? Why is the Man-Thing one of your favorite characters?
Just the stories. I love those stories that Steve Gerber did. I think that really, that he's such a unique, different character that he there isn't anybody else like him. He wasn't as easily convertible into a superhero until they, changed him, but if you stuck to him as he should be, then you've got a monster creature thing and you've got these fascinating stories around people and feelings and emotions. So.
Now this is, we touched on this a little bit before we started here, but so Man-Thing's thing is he hates fear.
Mm-hmm.
So if he senses fear in someone, then he wants to get rid of it, and he typically will grab that thing, and it will start to burn. Why is Man-Thing not completely seen as a villain?
Well, I mean, to the people near the swamp, I think he is. I mean, he's this creature that lives out in the woods, but I don't know, it feels like there was he was a mythical creature like a Bigfoot, he wasn't.
But it seems like bad guys get disproportionately burned by Man-Thing. It's not but I would think that innocent people would be just as scared.
Maybe they're actually, what, I hadn't thought about this. Maybe there's a difference between their fear, right? Like the Jedi and the Sith, right? Fear leads to hate and hate leads to the dark side.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's a difference between their fear. Maybe that's why bad guys get burned more.
And I'm sure Steve Gerber came up.
Marvel owns, Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel.
Oh, I see. So
we can blend it all together.
Wait a second. So you're saying that Man-Thing only attacks Sith Lords?
Well, who would be Sith, in the multiverse? Because he's the nexus of all realities. He could just as easily go into, the.
So what color would Man-Thing's lightsaber be?
I think it would be red, honestly, because it matches eyes, right? Then it would be red.
Okay. Well, I think it's important for especially comic book characters for the visual design to really pop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I love it. Do you have any other toys you want to show off? Maybe we should just make it toy time every time.
We should make it toy time every now and again. Yeah. I'm working on my multiple man collection.
Do you want to show your most prized multiple man?
No, because they're too high up on my wall. And
Okay,
I've only got two of them. I'm looking. That's what I'm currently searching
gotta
at.
have at least 10 multiple men.
I've got I well that was the thing. I had one that I've had for a really long time,
Uh-huh.
and he's like the old wizard special edition one, whatever, that I got
Okay.
back in the 90s or something. And I'd had him, and then I got the giant size Fantastic Four comic book where the first appearance of Multiple Man. So
Oh, that he first appeared in Fantastic Four,
yeah, yeah.
not an X-Men comic. Okay, I'm surprised to hear that. So
Yeah, this giant
was he
size
a mutant?
Fantastic
Was he a
Four.
mutant in that one?
I I'm not sure if he's a mutant. I can't remember now.
Or did he just show up as a guy with powers?
I
Because
think he is. I think he might be a mutant in it. Like, but yeah, he's fighting the Fantastic Four, and I was like, oh, so I thought that was cool. It's a cool picture and all that. So I put it up on my wall, and then I put up my Multiple Man next to it, and I've been looking at it, and I was like, I should have more Multiple Men. And so I bought another one, and it's like now that I've got two, I've got to get more. I've got to get every version of Multiple Man that's ever been made into a toy, and that's where I'm at now. Is on a hunt for Multiple Men to
interesting.
decorate my
Well,
home.
I have to go look and see if I can find that Fantastic Four issue on Marvel Unlimited and just and because I didn't realize he debuted in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Huh.
a. I don't know why I came across. I don't know why I got it. Honestly, it's one of those things you're going through comic books. You're like, oh, I'd really like that, and then you just buy one. So
So wait, so your favorite comic book characters are Man Thing, Silver Surfer, Iceman, and Madrox, the multiple man.
I
Jim.
wouldn't say Mad Rocks really.
No, really?
No, just I mean, there are some characters that I like. Like I really like Vision and Wonder Man and
Oh
those.
yeah, Wonder Man.
So
Yeah.
I've got like all the Nick Fury. Well, not all of them, but I like the Samuel Jackson Nick Fury. Like that. Just I've always liked that. Uh, I don't know. Spider Man, definitely Miles Morales, Spider Man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
I mean, those are the standout characters. I would say would be like, yeah, Wonder Man. Like I like the X Factor. That's really what it is. That's where I got into Multiple Man. So I wouldn't say Multiple Man per se, but X Factor. So
Well, it occurs to me I'm reading two runs right now that you turned me on to, which is the original Steve Gerber Man Thing run, and I'm also reading the Peter David X Factor run
uh,
right now. So both, yeah, both really cool. I mean, very different, of course.
yeah,
The standards of writing in the '70s were a little different than the
yeah.
standards of writing in the 2000s.
But I gotta say, I mean, but yeah, I would say honestly, that's another thing. It's like Man Thing really got me into comic books. I was
Really?
I was reading, because I was reading, Spider Man. I had like the subscription where they'd send it to your house. I had like Web of Spider Man or something like that. I want to say. I don't know, but I would go to the comic book store. I'd get my parents to drive me to the comic book store every weekend, and we'd go to the one I think it's in Crystal City, whatever.
Well, was there even a Man Thing? I didn't even realize Man Thing was being printed in the
It
'80s.
wasn't. That was the thing. I came across him in something, and he was fascinating to me. So I had to go. I started back issues.
Huh.
That's what got me deep into the world of comics. Was I was getting back issues of Man Thing. I have every issue of Man Thing from the very first appearance because I was buying back issues in the like 80s and like through the 80s. I kept going back to find, because they were cheap, because it was Man Thing and nobody cared. And they were like old comic books. But yeah, going through the comic book bins, finding, I don't have this, this Marvel 2-in-1 where he's with the Thing or Master of Kung Fu or like every appearance that he had. It was, I guess whatever my mental issue or whatever that made me collect every issue of every appearance of Man Thing. So I had to have them all, and I had to find them all, and and that just got me deep into comics. So.
Huh. Interesting. Because I mean, it's not a superhero comic.
No, no, and I think that was one of the standout things that really drew me in was it wasn't a straightforward superhero comic, but it
Well,
was
well, but I mean, I guess what I'm saying is
moral
that,
comic. It was about morality still in there. I
but
guess.
but then you got into superhero comics from there. I
Well,
mean,
I was with the superhero comics, but I would have just been getting, a couple here and there if it weren't for the fact that I was digging through back issue
huh.
boxes every weekend as often as I could go to get more old comic books and reading, and continuity. And that's where I got my thing for continuity. It's like I got all these old books, and you see how when something is mentioned in one book and it's referenced somewhere else, and you could go back and got this whole story, and it was the history of like the characters and everything. That's
So it's interesting that you said you bring up continuity, and that like Man Thing kind of sparked that with you, even though I would think because the nexus of all realities and all how screwy it gets in that swamp, that continuity would be less important for Man Thing than it would be for any other,
well, he would
superhero.
be the only one who had continuity, one would think. He's over all of that, right? So
Well, he's kind of beyond continuity,
yeah,
I would think, because he could always go to pop off to an alternate dimension where things
yeah.
went differently. There would be an explanation for it,
I was always disappointed that nobody really took advantage of that, him being at the nexus of all. I mean, it didn't. There was so much that could be done there, and I feel like they never really explored that as much. So,
Well, what are some of the things that you would have done with Man Thing?
I mean, I just would have had a whole, well, for in my mind, it's like, well, if he's the guardian of nexus of all realities, but that's just in this reality, right? Shouldn't there be guardians of the nexuses of the nexi of realities, right? So there should be an infinite number of different guardians, but that doesn't mean they're all Man Thing. There's all sorts of bizarre and strange things that can be like if they're all like him, where they're not like a guy who's the guardian, it's a thing that's the guardian.
Well, is
reality in every. I
Was it determined that Man Thing is somehow officially the guardian of the Nexus, or is he just a guy that just happens to be there because that's where his experiment went wrong?
I don't know. They say that he's the guardian, so I don't know.
Functionally, he kind of is.
Yeah, I don't know if he was officially. I feel like one of those Jennifer Kale stories, one of the mystical, magical stories, calls him that. So it's like kind of like he was fated to have a bad science experiment there.
Well, that's okay because that's kind of because it's
Yeah.
I would imagine if like the government knew about the Nexus and understood what it was, they might assign a superhero there to just sort of be a literal guardian of the Nexus, or have a squad that's monitoring it, to see
That would
like.
be funny, and then they just keep getting burnt to a crisp by the Man Thing.
Well, no. I meant that like if you have another reality, like you said, it's like you don't presume that there's a Man Thing at every nexus and every reality, right?
But I would think that there's something there, and I just think that it would be interesting to see other things that you go to another reality, there's another thing. I don't know.
What if the Man Thing's brain is kind of the reason why he's not doesn't have full agency is because his brain is like in all the dimensions at once.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. There's like so much that was not, explored with it. And then they, made the character, Chewbacca or whatever.
Did you?
That's what I think. Like with the Werewolf by Night, they basically he's Ted, and he's basically like a Chewbacca character.
Yeah, he's kind of like a puppy dog or something. Yeah. Okay, so what are your opinions on Swamp Thing at DC?
I like Swamp Thing. Being the second made swamp creature.
Second. Now you know the story behind it, right?
Yes. Man,
that roommates that both characters were created by roommates.
Uh-huh. And Man Thing was first. That's yeah.
The actual thing that was first was the
heap doesn't count. The heap doesn't count. That was a whole other thing. Man Thing was first.
There were other swamp creatures before. What about like the creature from the Black Lagoon or something like that?
He was a fish man.
I guess that's a fish man.
Different. Okay. But yeah, no, I I never, I'm not a big DC Comics fan, so I was very much Marvel, but I did read a bunch of Swamp Things, and those are really interesting books too, because he's like connected to nature and the world,
The green.
the green, yeah. And I thought that was really cool. And there's like this whole like council of things. I don't know. When we were doing our comic book, that's kind of what I had the character, what's his name? Activator. When I did,
which is interesting. By the way, I'd like to point out I created this character named Activator, and Terrence just went completely crazy with him. So and developed him into something else. So
yeah,
you have like a whole bunch of stories that I don't even know what they are.
I wouldn't say I had a bunch of stories. I had one story, which was because he had like this, because he had the thing we established was that he had multiple lives.
Serial immortality,
immortality. So I could make a whole other life for him, and he was much more attached to like because his powers were about like all the elements, and so he was much more into like the world of the elemental world in my story. So I know he was very much more like a Swamp Thing type character, and anyway, telling people about something that they have no clue.
That's right. Nobody knows about the mighty bulwarks.
You and I can talk about
the mighty bulwarks. Well, I'm now interested though. So Man Thing was one of the ones that really got you right off the bat. Mm-hmm. What about? Can you tell us about like how did you get into Silver Surfer or Iceman?
Oh God! Well, I mean, those are I think those are just longer stories of like just like.
Well, maybe we should touch on that another time then.
Yeah, I think we can do a character breaks.
Well, do you have any other Man Thing memorabilia that you want to?
I mean, I've got I'll take it off the wall. But this is this is my copy of Savage Tales. You can see.
Okay.
Which is where does it say it? Like Coming of the Man Thing, like
oh yeah, over there. It's in blue. It's kind of hard to read.
I don't read. There's a reflection.
That reflection doesn't help.
Yeah.
You take it out of the frame. No.
I could. I mean, it's Savage Tales with Conan, and it was the Coming of the Man Thing, and that's the first appearance of Man Thing.
And is that the one that's drawn by Neil Adams?
I could not tell you.
Yeah, because I thought was interesting was that the version on Marvel Unlimited is not the original version. It's a flashback. It's sort of like they've got the issue, but they flash back, and the bookending storyline is drawn by somebody different. And Neil Adams did the original Man Thing story, and the art is amazing. So because he's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, I did not know that. Yeah, I'll have to look on there. I haven't looked at that.
No, check it out.
Let's see. Do I have?
Well,
I got my Essential Man thing back there.
You know what? I'm sorry.
My Essential Man thing, like the old one. The big omnibus of But
is it? Did I get you that?
I think you did.
Yeah. Okay. And you didn't. And tell me about. I think there was a point where you were trying to indoctrinate your kids into reading Man Thing.
Oh no! I think they read a bit of it. That and I've got a little book of Swamp Thing, and I gave them that too. So.
Okay.
I was balancing,
Oh, of course, you don't want to. You want them to choose Marvel for their own reasons, not
right.
They were unexposed to DC. So.
Although I got to say, my eldest has a thing for Batman and Nightwing and all that. What are you gonna do? You try.
Kids these days. They don't know what it's like to be a Marvel zombie.
Yeah.
So here's a question, an aside. Do you want to just make this the end of the superhero sidebar, and then we can start another sidebar?
Yeah, let's do that because we talked a whole lot about.
So why don't we do the official wrap up here?
All right.
Well, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and share the program with your friends.
Be sure to catch Las Pinatas live stream weekly on Twitch Thursdays, and also check out our other podcast,
Heroic Origins, wherever you listen to podcasts. And then, if you want to check on the other projects I work on, which is movies, movie reviews, music, videos, other podcast projects, check out my website at www.davidcoyle.com.
And now it's time for you to whack your own piñata and see what shakes out.
Now get lost.
Beat it. Oh. I lost my mouse. I can't find it. There it is.